Did you know that something as simple as reheating the wrong food could be weakening your legs every week? Many older adults think leg pain and muscle loss are just part of aging, but the truth is, many times it's preventable. After 60, your body becomes more vulnerable to inflammation and muscle breakdown. Shockingly, some foods that seem healthy can actually cause harm when reheated the wrong way, silently weakening your strength. In this guide, you'll discover which foods to avoid and which ones to embrace so you can stop muscle loss, reduce pain, and stay strong for years to come. Let's start with one of the most common foods that many people reheating every week: chicken. At first glance, it seems harmless. Chicken is a lean protein that doctors and nutritionists often recommend to aging muscles. But here's the catch. Reheating chicken improperly can do far more harm than good, especially for seniors over 60. When chicken is reheated, especially in a microwave, it undergoes changes to its protein structure. These changes not only make the meat rubbery and dry, but they also make it much harder for your body to digest and absorb the very nutrients your muscles need. For older adults whose digestion naturally slows down, this means your body is working harder but getting less. This is especially harmful for those dealing with age-related muscle loss, known as sarcopenia. One of my patients, Mr. Harold M., a 78-year-old retired firefighter, came to me complaining of severe bloating, fatigue after meals, and increasing weakness in his legs. He used to enjoy long walks, but lately, even walking a block left him breathless. After reviewing his habits, we found that he often reheated chicken leftovers in the microwave, thinking it was a healthy choice. Tests revealed elevated inflammation markers and mild gastrointestinal distress, likely from the repeated exposure to partially degraded protein and uneven reheating, which left harmful bacteria behind. It's not just about the digestive issues. A few weeks later, Harold suffered a mild fall in his kitchen because his legs were too weak to catch his balance. The truth is, chicken is especially vulnerable to bacterial growth even when stored in the fridge. If it's reheated unevenly, like in most microwaves, it can still harbor dangerous bacteria such as Salmonella or Campylobacter, bacteria that can be far more dangerous to seniors with weakened immune systems. So, what should you do instead? If you cook chicken, try to eat it fresh. If you have leftovers, consider serving it cold in a salad or sandwich the next day. And if you absolutely must reheat it, avoid the microwave. Use the stovetop or oven and make sure the internal temperature reaches at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit or 74 degrees Celsius, checking with a food thermometer to be sure. Your body has been through too much to take chances with improperly reheated meals. The risk is real, and your legs, strength, and freedom are worth more than a shortcut. Let's move on to the second food that can become surprisingly harmful when reheated: spinach and leafy greens. Most seniors believe that spinach is always a healthy choice. It's packed with iron, calcium, and essential vitamins, making it a trusted ally in healthy aging. But here's the truth that might surprise you. Reheating spinach, especially in the microwave or after it's been sitting in the fridge, can turn this superfood into a hidden danger, particularly for your muscles, nerves, and long-term mobility. Spinach and other leafy greens like kale and Swiss chard contain nitrates, naturally occurring compounds that when eaten fresh or lightly cooked help widen blood vessels and improve circulation. This is great for aging legs as better blood flow keeps muscles oxygenated and energized. But the problem arises when spinach is cooked, stored, and then reheated. The nitrates can transform into nitrites and worse, nitroazamines. These compounds have been linked to cell damage, inflammation, and, in some cases, carcinogenic effects. Seniors are especially vulnerable because their bodies aren't as efficient at detoxifying these compounds, and any added inflammation directly impacts muscle recovery and joint health. Let me give you an example. Marjorie, a 76-year-old retired librarian, came to me complaining of constant leg fatigue. She said that walking up the front steps left her breathless and sore. She prided herself on eating healthy, particularly her daily spinach omelet, which she reheated each morning in the microwave. When we examined her diet and symptoms and ran her blood tests, we found signs of low iron absorption, elevated inflammation markers, and liver stress. It was subtle, but it was real. The very food she believed was fueling her strength was, after improper reheating, gradually chipping away at her resilience. Once she stopped reheating spinach and switched to fresh preparation, along with some gentle physical therapy, her leg fatigue significantly improved within just 6 weeks. The lesson here is clear. Not everything healthy stays healthy once it's been reheated. For seniors whose systems are already more sensitive, this could be the difference between walking confidently and struggling with every step. So before you toss that bowl of sautéed spinach into the microwave tomorrow, ask yourself, is it worth risking the strength in your legs, the clarity of your nerves, or the independence you've worked so hard to maintain? Now, if that surprised you, just wait until you hear about the most unsuspecting danger of all. A food that almost every home has sitting in the fridge and when reheated carelessly could lead to something far worse than just muscle weakness. It could send you straight to the emergency room. Let's move on to the third food, rice. Rice is a comfort food for many. Warm, familiar, and easy to prepare in large batches. It shows up in casseroles, soups, stir-fries, and family dinners across the country. For seniors living on their own or cooking for two, it might seem practical to make a pot of rice and reheat it over the next few days. But this innocent habit could actually be placing your health and even your life in real danger. Here's what most people don't know. Cooked rice, when left at room temperature for too long, can become a breeding ground for a bacterium called Bacillus cereus. Unlike many bacteria, Bacillus cereus can survive the cooking process and remain dormant in the rice. But if the rice is left sitting too long on the stovetop, or even just cooling slowly before refrigeration, those spores wake up and begin producing toxins. Once those toxins are present, no amount of reheating can destroy them. For younger adults with strong immune systems, this might result in a few hours of stomach pain or nausea. But for seniors whose digestive and immune defenses have weakened over time, it can lead to severe gastrointestinal distress, dehydration, and even hospitalization. The added strain on the body accelerates muscle loss, especially in the legs. Let me tell you about Frank, a 79-year-old retired truck driver from Ohio. Frank had always been healthy for his age. He still did his own grocery shopping and went bowling on Saturdays. But one week, after reheating leftover rice from a Chinese takeout dinner, he started feeling nauseous. Within 6 hours, he was vomiting uncontrollably and had severe diarrhea. His daughter rushed him to the ER. By the time I saw him, Frank had lost over 10 pounds, mostly fluid and lean muscle. He couldn't even lift himself off the hospital bed without assistance. 1 meal, that's all it took. Frank spent 4 days recovering in the hospital and then 2 months in physical therapy to regain his balance and leg strength.
The emotional toll was even greater. He lost confidence, avoided meals he once loved, and felt like he had aged 5 years overnight. The problem wasn't just the rice, it was the reheating process, especially in the microwave, where the heat is uneven and often doesn't reach the temperature needed to kill the bacteria. If you eat rice regularly, here's how to protect yourself. Refrigerate it immediately after cooking. Don't leave it out for more than an hour. Store it in shallow containers to help it cool quickly. When reheating, use the stovetop and stir constantly to ensure even heat. Better yet, try making smaller portions and avoid leftovers when possible. Reheating yesterday's rice might seem like a small mistake, but it can cost you your strength, independence, and peace of mind. Now that we've uncovered these hidden dangers, let's shift to something far more hopeful: foods you should reheat. Foods that not only keep you safe, but can actually help rebuild your leg strength and restore vitality to your daily life. You'll be surprised at how the right kind of warmth can heal more than just your appetite. Let's move on to point 4, sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes aren't just tasty. They're a powerful ally in your fight against leg weakness and age-related muscle loss. But here's something most seniors don't know. You get even more health benefits when you cook them, cool them, and then reheat them. This humble root vegetable, when treated right, can work like natural medicine for aging muscles. As we grow older, our bodies don't absorb nutrients the way they used to. Our metabolism slows down, and muscle mass, especially in the legs, starts to shrink unless we actively fight back through targeted nutrition. Sweet potatoes are rich in potassium, which helps regulate muscle contractions, and vitamin A, which reduces inflammation that contributes to leg stiffness and joint pain. But here's the secret. When sweet potatoes are cooled after cooking and then reheated, they develop something called resistant starch. This type of starch feeds the healthy bacteria in your gut, helping improve nutrient absorption, balance blood sugar, and reduce inflammation throughout the body, especially in your muscles. I treated Mrs. Claudine, a 74-year-old widow who had been struggling with painful legs and increasing fatigue. She'd given up long walks, stopped gardening, and even started using a cane. When I looked closely at her meals, I noticed something was missing: postbiotic fiber, the kind that comes from cooled and reheated foods like sweet potatoes. I asked her to add them back into her weekly meals, but not fresh out of the oven. I told her to bake them, cool them overnight, then reheat them the next day. Simple. 4 weeks later, she came back with a smile and no cane. Her legs felt stronger, she could stand longer while cooking, and her energy had improved. Not because of a pill, but because of a reheated sweet potato. When you skip this food or only eat it fresh, you're missing out on a unique chance to build gut strength that supports muscle strength. That's the kind of quiet, daily investment that protects your mobility. So next time you cook sweet potatoes, don't eat them all at once. Cool a few and reheat them the next day. Your muscles and your independence may depend on it.
Now, if you think sweet potatoes are impressive, just wait until you see what a bowl of reheated lentil stew can do for your legs. The second food on our list is packed with healing power that most seniors overlook entirely: bean-based soups and stews. There's something incredibly comforting about a warm bowl of soup, especially on a cold evening. But for seniors, certain soups aren't just soothing, they're strengthening, especially when made with beans or lentils and reheated properly. What most people don't realize is that when these dishes are cooked, cooled, and then gently reheated, they become even more powerful allies in the fight against muscle loss and leg weakness. Beans and lentils are loaded with plant-based protein, which is critical for preserving muscle in older adults. As we age, we naturally begin losing muscle mass each year, a condition known as sarcopenia. This isn't just about looking strong, it's about survival. Weaker leg muscles mean a greater risk of falling, slower recovery from illness, and a growing dependence on others. But here's where it gets interesting. When you cook a pot of lentil soup, let it cool, and then reheat it the next day, the fiber and starch content actually changes in a good way. It becomes easier to digest, more gut-friendly, and more effective at helping your body absorb and use protein properly. This is because cooling and reheating increases something called resistant starch, which feeds beneficial bacteria in your gut and helps reduce chronic inflammation, one of the hidden causes of muscle weakness in seniors. Let me share the story of Mr. Ralph, a 79-year-old former mechanic. Ralph had always been strong in his younger years, but lately he'd noticed his legs felt tired, even after short walks. He assumed it was just part of getting older. When we took a closer look at his diet, we noticed that he was eating plenty of meat, but not many legumes. He wasn't getting the fiber or nutrients his body needed to properly support muscle recovery. I encouraged Ralph to make a big batch of lentil and vegetable stew every Sunday, store it in the fridge, and gently reheat it throughout the week. Nothing fancy, just consistent, nourishing meals. 6 weeks later, Ralph didn't just feel better, he moved better. He was walking without resting, sleeping deeper, and even said he felt 10 years lighter. It wasn't magic. It was consistent, nutrient-rich meals that his body could actually use. If you're skipping bean-based soups because they seem too simple, think again. Reheated slowly on the stovetop, not in a rush in the microwave. They can provide steady protein, fiber, iron, and anti-inflammatory compounds that your muscles desperately need. The real danger isn't what's in the soup, it's what you're missing when you don't eat it. Muscle loss creeps in silently, but smart choices like this push it back, one worm bowl at a time. Now, if legumes can help rebuild muscle from the inside out, imagine what happens when you reheat a food that fights inflammation at the cellular level. The third item on our list might surprise you, but it could be the missing piece your aging joints and legs are waiting for: tomato-based sauces.
Tomato-based sauces are a nostalgic favorite for many, whether poured over pasta, stirred into casseroles, or simmered into soups. But what most people don't know is that when you reheat tomato-based sauces, you unlock a powerful compound called lycopene, and that simple act can make a real difference in how your joints and leg muscles feel and function. Lycopene is a natural antioxidant found in tomatoes, and here's the secret: it's activated by heat. This means fresh tomatoes are healthy, but cooked and reheated tomatoes deliver even more healing power. When tomato sauce is gently reheated, lycopene becomes more available for your body to absorb. And that matters a lot because lycopene has been shown to fight chronic inflammation, the quiet destroyer behind so many age-related health problems, including muscle pain, stiffness, and weakness in the legs. Inflammation doesn't always feel like fire. Sometimes it's subtle. Waking up with sore knees, struggling to stand from your recliner, or feeling like your legs just don't have the energy they used to. That inflammation builds over time, robbing your legs of strength,
flexibility, and confidence. I once worked with Mrs. Evelyn, a 68-year-old woman who loved cooking, but hadn't realized how much she was relying on store-bought sauces full of sugar and preservatives. She complained of feeling like her legs were made of cement every morning and said she avoided walking more than a block. We discussed adding real, home-cooked tomato sauce to her meals, using olive oil, garlic, and herbs, and reheating it gently throughout the week. 3 weeks later, she wasn't just moving better, she was glowing. She replaced stiffness with motion, fatigue with clarity, and her nightly walks returned. One simple change: real tomatoes reheated right. If you're skipping tomato sauce or only eating it cold from the jar, you're missing out on an easy way to soothe your joints and support your legs. Reheat it slowly, pair it with lean protein or whole grains, and let it work its quiet magic. Because the truth is, your kitchen holds tools that can either hurt or heal your aging body. The choices you make, like how you reheat a sauce, are far more powerful than you think.
Aging may slow down your body, but it doesn't have to take away your power to make choices. Choices that can protect your health, your legs, and your independence. The small, everyday decisions you make, what you eat, how you reheat your food, and the care you give your body, add up over time, shaping not only your health today, but your future. Every meal, every bite, every action you take can either build strength or wear it down. The simple act of rethinking how you reheat your food can help preserve your muscle mass, keep you moving with confidence, and protect your freedom for years to come. You don't need to be perfect, but with awareness and small, intentional changes, you can make a powerful difference in how you live. As you take control of these small habits, remember, it's not just about avoiding what harms you. It's about embracing what heals, nourishes, and strengthens. So, as you prepare your next meal, ask yourself, is this helping me stay strong, independent, and active? The answer is in your hands. Your legs, your mobility, and your vitality are worth every small choice you make to protect them. Keep going strong, keep walking tall, and remember, you're not just aging, you are thriving. Keep making choices that preserve your health and your independence for the years to come. Thank you for watching, and if you found these insights helpful, share them with someone you care about. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tips to live your best life, strong, healthy, and independent.